Welcome back, csc103 class, to part 2 of our exercise 23 for fall 2019, which is our SpongeBob database and our World database using phpMyAdmin. That's what we're using right here. And we're in the MariaDB. And right now we clicked on the World database, and we're going to use the country table. They have a city, country, and country language table. We're going to use the country table, and there's all these countries in here, and we're going to be using the SQL tab to actually write some queries, and they'll look like this. And I actually have the queries on the instructions. Here's the PDF of the instructions. And the first thing it asks is how many countries total. And you could do select all from country, or you don't even have to do that so far. You could just look, because it'll say 239. Now you might say, well, now I got to fill this thing out and give it back to you. Well, what you could do right now, if you're working on this at home, is just put in the number. Just put 239. You don't even have to put the number, and just hit return. And go back to your instructions. And the next one, it says, number 11, go to the country table and SQL tab, and we're going to write a query, and it says, how many countries in North America? Now, it'd be nice if you type this yourself to see how it works, but you can look at this. If you had to get through this quicker, you could copy it, but let's just try to type it just to see how it works. So we're going to go through the countries table, so we're going to go to the SQL tab. And it's already started for us, so this isn't that hard. It says select all, which is the asterisk, from country, which is the table, where, and that's because I was in the country table, and it just says where 1. Now, instead of 1, you could just backspace that, and we're going to say where continent, and we'll just put equals. Now, you could put a space equals or just equals, but you have to put in quotes, and you have to put North America, just like it reads. So you should check on what it says. If we're getting a certain value, you have to look up that value, because you wouldn't know if it's saying N America or anything like that. But it does say North America, and finish it off with a semicolon. And you can copy this, because that'll be easier to do the next one. And also, if you had an error, it'll be easier to fix it. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to hit go. And it should take you to the Browse tab. And if you look, it says there's 37 total. These are all the countries in the continent of North America. Now, who would have thought there's that many countries in North America? Now, that's not the region of North America. We'll check the region and make sure we have the North America region. And I'm also looking at this just to make sure that it's called North America, not N America, anything like that. So that's the next one we'll do. So we could record 37. So I'm going to go back to my Word file or text file, wherever you do it, and I'll just put 37. And I'll just hit enter. So there's not a whole lot to do here. So there's not that many values. And then when you're done, you'll just copy and paste these into your comments. Then you don't have to insert that sheet when you're done. So I'm going to go back to my instructions, and you might want to print them out and look at them. That might be easier. And the next one says where region is North America. So that means there's 2 conditions. So let's go back and look at that. For number 12, there's 2 conditions. And the next one, South America, Oceania, Antarctica, and then country code is USA. So the rest are pretty easy. So this will be pretty quick. So we'll go back here, and we'll go back to our SQL. And I'm just going to paste the one I had, or you could start here. Now, this was where continent equals North America. Now, we're just going to append this, and we're going to use and it's going to be where region, so I'll double-click on region, equals also North America. Now, just keep in mind, if I put noth, if I spelled that wrong, you probably wouldn't have any. Let's just see what happens. I'm just going to put a semicolon, and if you did something wrong, if you typed it wrong, if you put North America, you probably shouldn't get any, because there shouldn't be any where the continent and means that it has to be both of them. It's not or, it's and means both. So let's just see what happens here. And we didn't get any. So there's no results. Here's the results operation. There's nothing there. So I'll go back here. And luckily I pasted that. So now I can fix it and put North America. And I'll try it again, and I'll copy it again. I would recommend always just copying it. It's just the best thing to do, especially working in here. You never know what will happen. So I'll hit go, and now I should get, there's 5. So there's 5 countries that are in the continent of North America, in the region of North America. And Bermuda, Greenland, Canada, Saint Pierre, and Miquelon, and of course the United States. So I knew Canada and United States. I wasn't sure of Greenland and that other one. But anyway, there's 5. So you could go back to your Word file or wherever you're putting this in, 5. You could even have My Warn open, and you could do it right in the comments. But there's 5. So there's just a couple more to do here. So the next one is asking about South America. It's just a continent. So the next 3 are continents. So these are pretty easy. We could do these right in a row and just keep track of them. So it's South America, Oceania, and Antarctica, just as long as you spell it right. So I'll go back to my SQL. I'll paste it again. Now this is the whole one, so I'm going to get rid of everything but the semicolon. And instead of North America, this is going to be South America. So how many countries are in South America? And I'll hit go. And there are 14. So I'll go back here and put 14. And you could put notes, North America, South America, whatever, or you could just put the numbers in. Now I'll go back, and I think the other one is Oceania. And if you didn't know where Oceania was, you could find out by running the query. So I'll go here, and I'll just do this one myself. I'll say where continent equals, and then Oceania, and it's spelled like ocean with an IA. We put the quote, we put the semicolon, and once you don't see an X there, you don't have a syntax error, so it should be okay. I'll copy this one, and there are 28. Who would have thought? And that's Australia and all those countries around Australia, and there's 28 of them. So there's 28. And then Antarctica, I didn't know there was any other countries there. I didn't know there were any countries there. So let's see what countries are part of Antarctica. So we'll go back to SQL, and I'll paste over what I had the previous time. And I'll try to spell Antarctic. So that looks okay. I got the semicolon at the end. Let's see how many countries are in Antarctica. And there are 5. Who would have thought? Same amount of countries in North America there are in Antarctica. So the countries there are these. I know that one, Antarctica. Didn't even know it was a country. Not a lot of people there. I think that population 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Wow, there's nobody living there. And they're actually countries. It's amazing. So we just have one more to go. So I'm going to go back to my SQL. And I'll go back and see what the last one is. This one is using country code. Actually, this one is using the city table, and it's saying how many cities are in the USA. Now, I don't know. There's probably hundreds in each state. We'll go and start this from scratch. So this time, we're not using country. We're selecting all from city. Now, you wouldn't have to put that. Actually, if you went back to your structure, you actually want to go back to the world database and go to the city table. And now, those are all the cities in the world. I'll go to SQL, and it should say select all from city, where, and I'm going to say where country code, so I'll get rid of this one here, and put in country code equals, and then in quotes, we'll put United States, and finish it off with the quotes. And instead of United States, I'm going to put USA, and then I'll hit go, and I get 274 cities in the United States. Now that's obviously that's not all of them, because if you did a little query, here's district. How many cities are in the district of, let's try New Jersey, since we're working for a New Jersey school right now. Let's just go back just to see. It says select all from city where, and I'll use district equals, and I'm sure it's New Jersey, so I'll spell it out. I don't think it's N Jersey or anything, so I'll spell this out. And I guess we'll know if we have none or if we have some of them. So let's see how many cities there are in New Jersey. And there's only 4 listed: Newark, Jersey City, Patterson, and Elizabeth. Now, they don't even have the capital, which is Trenton, there. So obviously they're missing some cities in New Jersey because there's more than 4. So they must just have a little kind of smattering of cities in here in this database. So I wouldn't use this as an official version for anything other than to just kind of mess around with the database a little. But that's all you have to do in here. And again, going back to, I don't know if I stopped counting my things down here. There were, before that, Oceania. I think that was 28 for Oceania. And then the last thing here were cities in the United States, which was 274. So these are, you should have these answers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 answers, and that's what they should end up being. And if you wanted to submit these, you could just copy these if you didn't want to turn in the sheet or anything like that, like we did in class. And what you could do is go back to, now you don't have to do anything here. You don't have to export the database, anything like that. Just leave the database alone and go back to coursework and go in here and just edit your comment for that exercise and just hit a return and just paste them. I'll just say remove formatting. And that's all you need. You could just put those in there. It doesn't matter if they have a comma between them, whatever, as long as you just have the answers in there that show that you did the world and you could do something like that. So there you have your SpongeBob database, or at least your characters table, and these are your answers for the world database, and I could save this, and then that's all you have to do for exercise 23, and then here you can get out of this. You don't have to close anything, you don't have to delete anything like that. Your database that you create, like your SB SpongeBob one, that'll go away in like an hour or so. The world one is usually here, so you should have access to that. And if you have any problem, let me know. There's always some workarounds that we could do. So that's the end of that one, and that's the end of exercise 23, or your SpongeBob and world database.